Hello, everyone.
Hey, we're back.
We're back again. Episode 2 now.
Episode 2.
Yes.
Try 3. Take 3.
Yep. So many takes. Takes.
You guys aren't gonna hear the other ones.
Yep. Piping hot.
This one's good.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. It's a great episode. We got a lot on our plate today. But first,
I'm Andy.
And I'm Dan.
This
is just Andy.
This is just Andy. We hope you're all feeling just Andy.
And I know who wasn't feeling just Andy.
Is it Niantic?
Oh yes, it was everybody in Chi-Town for the
home of the deep dish pizza. And
the
world champion.
Wow, who would think you would say that, Marty McFly?
Can you even say that actually?
They were
world champion because baseball is big in Japan. Are they really the world champions?
Yeah, but you could just say that about any sport. I mean, basketball players.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I feel like football, you could say we're the world champions of football.
But then, is everybody not a world champion anywhere?
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, because there's no other football, like American football. No, I'm saying
like if you do soccer though, like if you're
if it's soccer, you could say you're the world champion. If you play in like the World Cup,
what the Champions League, that's the only one that would be acceptable then.
Let's say World Cup. It's like you are the champion of the world.
You are the champions
of the world.
I don't think he says that, right? Is that true?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, for baseball, world champions is.
I don't know if it's no offense to the Japanese, but I'm not sure. I have never seen. I will say, the Japanese League of Baseball. I know that they're not. They're not bad. Like it's not.
They're not as good as the American or like the
MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like shitty either. There's. You can tell, there's, the Chinese Basketball League, and there's a lot of, old, washed-up level NBA guys that go over there and they just run shop.
A lot of MLB guys go and play until, their 50s.
In Japan?
Because it's just,
Okay.
But...
This really got off the rails. And not one passing reference to the Cubs, and we didn't even talk about Back to the Future. I would buy a DeLorean. That was not the question asked, but I would. I'd
buy a hoverboard in 2017
I wanted the self-lacing Nikes, but
I think they have those.
But it was $80 billion. It was a donation, bid to win.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm not made of money.
But they had Pokemon Go Fest this weekend in Chicago, and this was
Let's just say it went off without a hitch.
Yeah, without a hitch. It went off without one hitch. It went off with a lot of hitches.
Oh, it was perfect. It was everything you could have asked for. And what a swan song.
This is actually what it should have been. This is what the 1 year anniversary should be.
It's really the most fitting thing, probably. It's it's a big red flag almost. But there's a lot of problems with the game. And I will say I love the game when it was new, very, very, very early on, and they made a lot of decisions that I didn't agree with, and I'm still waiting on. They get me to go back and play every now and again when Gen 2 came out, suck me back in. When there was some of the events, I go back and I play and I look around. I don't live in an area conducive enough to want to play. I get the same shit over and over again. So, there's nothing really to see. If I go somewhere new, I turn it on and I look to see anything.
So, that's, same thing. When it first came out, we were, me and my friends, all over it. We were going out playing a lot. Got to school, and, we go to school in Philly. So, Philly, everybody was like, holy fuck, this is a city. This is awesome.
In the city, it's great.
It's great. Dropped off. Gen 2 came out. Played for probably another 2 days. Stopped playing. And probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started getting real into it again. And it's actually pretty fun when they have, the events and shit going on. And it's you get double candies and double you hatch the eggs quicker. And they have fucking legendary stuff. And I'm like, it's actually pretty fun. So.
It seems like it's not as dead as you think it is because they sold out of those tickets really quick for this event.
Yeah, and the event, there was apparently 20,000 people there. So
I mean, that in and of itself is pretty impressive. But all it is, it turns into 20,000 letdowns, as they would say, more or less. Except for that one guy had a great time.
The one guy had a great time.
Personally successful, as they'd say.
But the biggest thing was that I don't think any company could have pulled this off.
No, the issue is that they're a small company, and I get it. But there's a lot of problems that they brought onto themselves. They do stuff that seems like not that they can like do them like themselves. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
They taking it's like too big an undertaking for them.
and they can't fix all the, like, one of the big problems was all the networks were shitting out because the carriers couldn't handle everyone trying to play in this
It's
2 square mile park, and that like wasn't that was completely
That's
out of
not
their
their
control.
fault. That's not their fault at all. I can't blame them for that. I can blame them for stuff like they did their best to fix the servers and stuff, but turn off the animations. But there's got to be a point. I guess you figure this is the first one, and you would hope that I'm assuming it's not going to be just in Chicago that it would like tour around or whatever.
Yeah, but there's like, oh hey, we're gonna do this in Chicago one day for like 6 hours.
I'm assuming the first one would have its hiccups, but
This
going
was a
forward,
burp. This wasn't even
no,
hiccups.
this is like a sustained hiccup. It was very uncomfortable for everybody in the vicinity.
The CEO got booed
Which
violently.
is funny. But every commissioner gets booed. Roger Goodell. Now, has the Niantic CEO done anything as bad as Roger Goodell?
I
I
don't
can
think
safely
so.
say no, but the boos are somewhat warranted because it's like a No Man's Sky esque situation. It looks so much better. Like you're like, oh, I can
On
trade.
paper, this looks so good.
And on the trailers and stuff before the game came out, made it seem like you'd have PvP and you'd have trading, and there's neither of those things right now.
And that's one of the things I think they need to fix. And I think in the near future they will. I know trading will totally be implemented.
I see the problem with trading now, for me at least, is that I know that a lot of the better people, like the guys that people have, are like glitched. Like they like either GPS spoofed or literally like just hacked it in.
I think they started cracking down on that
They
though.
have cracked down, but I doubt they can like
They can't get everybody. Yeah, no, I
everybody.
agree. Yeah.
But then it's gonna turn into like those guys can just like they're just gonna start trading those guys away for like next to nothing, or like it would run like scam like levels.
I have to say that these events that they do run do give people like good opportunities to get some pretty decent.
Yeah, I get sick though that every event is like Pikachu with another hat on.
Pikachu with a Santa hat. Pikachu. That was
The
also
Santa hat was fine the first time, but then it turned into like party hat.
that was the kick in the face for the year. They were like, "Oh, hey, we are putting this special box in the shop, not giving you anything for free, and here's a Pikachu with a funky hat on it." And everybody was like,
hat again.
"What the fuck are you doing?" And like I'll compare it. So normally, the two big mobile games, three. It's
The classic
Pokemon Go, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and this game called Balls, where you just fucking bounce balls on shit. So that we'll take balls out of the question.
Those are the top three games.
Those top three games I play on my
play.
phone.
Oh,
No. This isn't everybody.
Oh, I was gonna say 'cause the top three games like you think everybody's like the Clash of Clans or whatever.
Minecraft's been number one on the App Store for the paid apps.
Really,
for like
the Minecraft.
it's too small. I don't like. I've played like the free one before. I don't like it. It's too small.
Minecraft on your phone's like Minecraft on your phone. It's like Minecraft had
But
sex with your
smaller.
phone and had a little baby.
With little shitty dirt blocks.
little fucking brown brick.
But so Duel Links, it basically takes the original Yu-Gi-Oh characters. Like you have your Yugis, your Kaibas, your Joeys, and mostly like every week they have an event going on. Like today they started. It's been like culminating to Merrick's in it, like Yami Merrick, and like you can unlock him and you fight people, like fight some of the like henchmen and shit. And like last week was Arcana, and then before that you like fought Joe. So literally every week they have something going on that like will be like
it keeps it interesting. It keeps it fresh. At the same time, it wants you to go back, and the game's not getting boring. The problem with their events is that I like the ones where it's like the eggs hatch faster. I like the ones
they
where
don't do it frequently enough.
No.
I think that's
it's that, and then they also do events that are a lot of them. Even though they promise the like whatever type is more frequent, it's the same shitty ones that appear normally anyway.
Well, it's like, oh, there's the tier, because they just had one. It was Fire and Ice,
Yeah.
and it was for the solstice, and it was like, oh, hey, you can catch Lapras and Charizard and like all this shit, but they're also ultra rare. So it's like I was getting a lot of like Houndours and Charmanders and like.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least that's a little bit better. But it's like they had the balls, at least around here, to do a grass event. And I
Oh, and
wanted
it's
to. I
fucking.
wish I was dead when it came on. I mean, that was like that's when you hover over the uninstall button because everywhere I am, there's only grass type. So it's like, oh great, they just appear
Oh
even
no,
more.
there's more.
Oh no, it's like triple. Great,
So
that's what I needed.
like I said, Duel Links. Oh, like even though some of the events aren't as good as another, like there's a lot of them that give out like, oh you like for this one that just started, you get to unlock Merrick, you get a ton of the in-game currency, you get cards you can't get, but then there's other ones that are like, oh you can unlock like when you battle people you get more keys and gold coins, like that's multiplied by 2, which it's not great, but it's fucking something at that point. And I just think they don't have to do a lot. They don't have to do something extravagant like, oh, hey, a grass event, a fire and ice event. They could just be like, oh, hey, Pokemon give
Double XP.
double XP, double star. You get
Eggs
more
are
XP.
more frequently. The evolution items appear more frequently to stop.
It's stupid shit like that. That's the other thing. The evolution items
are so fucking impossible to get.
You either have to. So if you spin all the little thing,
you have to do. The only real way to get it is to do the 7 days.
I got one. I got one when it just dropped. I've gotten one.
I've gotten one right. It was like the first day, and I think it might have been buffed odds.
And it was I got an upgrade, and I already had one, so it's like I could get 2 Porygon 2s, but like I'm not complaining. I was like, this is cool because I think the drop chance on that is like less than 1%. But I mean, I like the game.
I think the game's good for a mobile game, and in terms of it being a Pokemon game, I mean, there are some dud Pokemon games in general. I mean, there's some that stick out as like not really good game, like in terms of just Pokemon. Like comparing it to the other ones, like there's Pokemon Channel. I mean, it's like you just watch TV.
I didn't know even that was a real game. I thought that was like Pokemon Box, where you just can store the Pokemon on
Pokemon Box is literally just a PC box on a disc.
Yeah.
It's not that. I have Pokemon Channel. It's literally like you watch like TV, and there's like a shopping channel, there's like a weather channel, there's like a game show channel.
That seems silly.
I played the shit out of that game. I was also a young boy.
Yeah, it's all
so
probably more entertaining when you're about.
I do love there's like the short in it, and it's like the Pichu brothers, I think it was called. And at the end, it's like a really weirdly done CGI Meowth, and he throws the party for all the Pokemon. And there's like a little music video. The song's really, really catchy.
I think that was a short before one of the movies.
I think
Wasn't
it might have been, but I remember it from the game because like you would progress through the game and you would like get another segment of it, and like the 6th one was like the CGI party.
That's fucking weird. I don't know if I would ever want a CGI.
It looks weird, but it's not bad at the same time. But I don't even know what gen it is. I think it might be 3. Yeah, it's 3, and then you can get Jirachi from it if you have the Game Boy Link cable.
See, that was like, there was cool shit with that, where like you would have to get. I think that was with Gale of Darkness. You could get
the Shadow Lugia, right?
Lugia or some shit like that. Yeah, there are some like weirder ones that I really don't get.
I love Snap. There should be a second one.
I feel like that's a gimme for the Switch just because of the.
There's no camera on the Switch, I don't think.
Well, still, I feel like you can.
I thought it was a gimme for the Wii U. I mean, if anything, that seemed like an ultimate like layup type thing. That had a front-facing camera on it, and it was like you would obviously just aim with the gamepad and then just take the picture.
That's a better thing. I mean, I could see you like put like you could probably do it so they make another like little fucking attachment for the Joy-Cons where it's like a little camera.
You don't even need that. I mean, I guess if you do it, you can use the motion controls and you would just aim the Joy-Cons. I mean, that's what they do in Splatoon. If you can turn it on, I turned it right off. You can like you adjust it so you like your vertical aiming is like you aim with the Joy-Cons. I mean, the Joy-Cons are really surprisingly accurate from my experiences, like in terms of like judging your distances. I like judging the stuff, like the gyroscope is pretty good. I mean, It's just weird sometimes though because you get caught in like weird stances. I know they have the reset button. That's probably your best bet to do a lot of times. Just get that safe reset because a lot you just get stuck in weird positions and you can't like undo it.
I mean, they do have uh, Pokemon Company announced that they are developing something for the Switch.
It's the next main series game.
Another main series game.
Whether it's Stars or something else.
I don't know. They also haven't said anything about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They're just kind of like, hey, this exists.
It's coming out this end of this year.
They haven't announced shit since the fucking
that thing.
The Pokemon Direct.
Direct.
Because it was like, oh my god, Pokken DX, this is so cool. Also, there's a new sequel game. Oh my god, more Pokken. And everybody was like, wait, what the fuck did you say in the middle there? And it was just like, I mean, I think it's apparently they're going for like a black 2, white 2. Kind of like, oh, hey, same region, same shit. 2 years later, some stuff is switched around.
I mean, I'd like to. I'll probably move him out of the loop. I made it somewhat through the one I have. I got Moon.
I didn't finish it.
I didn't finish either. I just wanted to deal with the Ultra Beasts where
they're like fucking. I actually just got to the part in the game where it was the Aether Foundation, where you fight the first one. I think I just did that. Like, that was where I just stopped. They're just fucking shit from another dimension, I think.
Is that all it is? I wasn't sure if they were like humans, like turned into it by accident.
Because that's what everybody thought. Because like there was a lot of parallels between them and like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think so. I know whatever this Necrozma, that's like the third legendary. That it's like, oh hey, it's gonna get a game because that's normally how this shit goes.
It hasn't done. Everybody always says that, but I don't think they've done the third one in a long time. I don't think they've done the third one since Platinum.
Since Platinum, yeah.
That's a long time ago. That was on DS.
I mean, I feel like with...
Because everybody was like, oh, here's black, here's white, you're getting gray. Gray never came.
Black 2, White 2 was the same idea, I think, as Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. They, like, took the third one and just fused it with the two main ones. Like, Reshiram got fused with... It was, like, Zekrom White.
Yeah, with the Kyurem.
Yeah, Kyurem, whatever the fuck it was.
Whatever. I'm bad at... My pronunciations of the names as they go along get way worse. And they're not as explicit. When I stopped watching the show for them to tell me what it was, then it would just get out of hand.
I was also just kind of like sitting one day and I was like, I think I probably know every Pokemon up to... I don't know the newest generation. I don't know all of them. I know like and I was like
the Donald Trump Weasel.
Gumshoes and then Unused.
That was by accident, they said, but it does look like them.
It does look like him.
It does a lot.
Well, Gumshoes is like an actual, that's like I think it's a word that means like clever or like some shit like that.
Huge. It means huge.
Gumhuge.
It means build a wall, so it means apparently.
But that was like, I was sitting there and I was like, this is such stupid. And I was like, I can't remember fucking formulas, but I can remember.
I can name up to at least, I mean, I don't know about off the top of my head, like, here's 151 slots, name the original 151.
I think I could do it.
I don't know how fast I could do it. I could probably narrow it down. I definitely could do it in order. I just remember that Pikachu's 25.
I can probably do it up to maybe 30, get them all right.
Pikachu's 25, I'm pretty sure, and then Raichu's 6.
Because it's starters, Rattata, Raticate, Pidgeys, or maybe it's Caterpie.
I think it's...
And it's like Caterpie, Weedle, and then...
Pidgeys, maybe.
I think Spearow, Pikachu, Ekans.
Oh, Ekans, yep. If Ekans is snake backwards, then what's Monk?
It's cum.
Yeah, that's all he is. It's
people with fucking filthy, filthy minds. But yeah, Pokemon Go, I mean, everybody was saying, someone said that I think this was on Reddit somewhere, and it was like, oh, here's my ideal event, like, the weeks leading up to it, just be like, here's some double XP and shit for 2 weeks, like, we're gonna release all the legendaries and stuff, and like, then they release, like, Mewtwo on this actual event. So they release, like, all the legendary birds and, like, Lugia and shit, and then they release Mewtwo, like, that's the big, like, thing. and then at the end of the event, they're like, "Oh, hey, Gen 3's coming in fucking September." Like you do, like you released like, "Oh, hey, trading Gen
I don't know
3."
if they're gonna do Gen 3 that fast though, because like introducing even more into the game. I mean, I don't know where they're stealing them. I don't know if they're stealing the models or they're.
Nintendo gives them, or the Pokemon Company gives them the models and the cries and like that stuff. So I know that's like one of the big reasons it did like come out as like quickly as it can because they don't have to make the models.
Okay.
Those models, I don't know what game they're from, but like those are, I think those are the Pokedex models.
From the Wii one. It looks like the Wii one's a little bit, but like not as high.
I think they're like a better resolution of the DS ones, like the 3DS ones. I could be wrong, but I know the Pokemon Company gives them the models.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say like that's pretty unreasonable. I mean, they have a. It's the same problem. It's to draw parallels to another game, the Friday the 13th game. It's another small company, independent game. They have a lot of problems with the servers and stuff, and it's hard for a company like that to progress forward when they have problems that are like on a foundational level, because then people are going to be like, oh, we're working on whatever, let's say trading, and then there's always that group of people that's like, well, your game doesn't even work, so you shouldn't be doing anything else
But
fixing it first. So at the same time, it's hard for like them to move forward, and at the same, you know what I mean.
No, I agree, but I feel like
They need to work on like the bare minimum. It's been a year. The trading should have been in there. Whether it be like you can only trade with like a friends list.
like I think just Bluetooth. I think Bluetooth is like the easiest. Like you
But
can't.
you have to be in person.
You can't do like Wi-Fi because there was like the whole like thing in the game. It was like the global trade system or something.
Yeah, the GTS.
They should not even don't even fuck around with that.
That sounds awful. Just because of the game itself.
Just because the game is just.
I doubt it can handle it. I'm gonna safely say.
But if it's like, oh hey, you and me, like you have a Pikachu and I have a fucking Charmander, like oh hey, both flip on Bluetooth, and it's like you go into like a little trading room, and it's like, oh, person in Dan's in the area, like
yeah. Like,
do you want to trade? Like go in a room with Dan, and it's like that's
better.
I think that's the only way they can do it.
My problem with that is that I don't know why they felt the need for the continent exclusives.
That's one of the dumbest things I think they've ever come up with.
Oh, it's awful, and it made me stop because when I played, I did not bother with the gyms or anything. I wanted to just be like, I want them all.
I got them all. Yeah.
I want to get all of them. And when they were like, you can't get these 4 or whatever it was, 3 or 4.
There's more now.
Well, there's more now for Gen 2. But knowing that I can't get them, you would figure like, oh, when trading comes, you would hope that you would trade like the North American one. I could pretty much, because I stockpile a lot of the Tauros to try.
It's like Tauros, Mr. Mime.
It's Mr. Mime,
Kangaskhan,
and Farfetch.
Farfetch.
Yeah.
And now Heracross.
It's Heracross, Corsola, and somebody else. Because Corsola's only in the Pacific for whatever reason. So it's even more.
That's so fucking. That's another thing they should have done for the event. Just.
That was in the park.
Yeah, like I know that was
in the Pokemon Fest. They did. That's.
Or you should be able to hatch them from eggs. I think that's.
I would be fine. I assume that you could hatch them all from eggs. You just couldn't catch them in the wild, like the baby Pokemon. Like you can't catch them in the wild.
Yeah.
Like I'd be fine with that. They'd just be rarer, but it would give me.
I think it would be like
I'm not paying for a plane ticket to go to these other countries to catch the fucking Pokemon.
I also have to say, for as good of a game it is, today was the first day I ever put money into it, and it was $5
for
incubators. I was 500 Pokemon coins, or like 550 Pokemon coins, and I bought like 4 incubators with it, just so it's like I hatched fucking 6 or 7 eggs when I walked over here. I think
I have fucking so many eggs from like.
I don't have any. That's the thing. I had 2 eggs in incubators, and that's it. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah.
Oh, I have like a full fucking compartment of eggs. It's ridiculous. I have eggs from all the way back in like 2016 stuff.
It was like I had shit from October, and I was like, fuck. And it was like,
yeah, you just want to clean house. I'm hoping that with any of these eggs, you can get the shit back when the egg was from. So like, I have a lot of the eggs from when the baby Pokemons were like triple times as rare to get.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it updates. I
No,
think it's
the
by
egg. No,
date. Yeah.
the eggs. No, I know that for a fact. The eggs are. It's a product of when. So like, if I had right now with the Ash had Pikachu, and I had 9 eggs from now, and I wait till like a year from now, I could technically, in theory, hatch the Pichu with the have one.
Like I said, I fucking hatched a Snorlax today. Fucking happy. I'm fucking content. Also hatched another Larvitar. I like hatched one of those Monday when I was going into sociology, and I was like, "Oh, we're fucking in
How
it
is the
right."
midterm?
I would have done better if I read all the papers that he told us to read, but like,
Yeah.
it wasn't hard. He gave it to us at like fucking 8:05, and like somebody was like, "We have like 45 minutes." And he was like, let me finish this up, and then you can take the test." We were all like, "I'm sorry, what?" But yeah, I mean, I want to say it's a solid. I mean, I'm not one person to like nitpick for a lot of things that I enjoy.
There's problems with the game, and just because I will say this, because this is a common misconception, just because you hate things about a game does not mean that you think the game is completely bad. You have to be able to acknowledge the shortcomings, at least. That's at least in an honest review of the game. There are problems. I did like it for a long time because of a lot of stuff I brought to the table. I did like the community aspect. That's kind of gone now.
Well, like
Like,
I'll say that. So
it comes back in spurts, I will say, but it's not as strong as it once was.
I work in Center City in Philadelphia, so I got out at lunch at 12 today, and there's a gym or like a raid center. I think they're the same thing. It's like right across the street from me, and I open up the app because I normally just fucking walk around and sit with my dick in my hand for a half hour before I actually start eating. Um, and there's an Articuno there, and I was like, holy fuck, that's pretty cool. And I like walk over to it, and there's probably about 15 or 20 people standing outside, and like they're all playing this fucking game, and it's not even like kids or like other 20-year-olds. Like I was talking to like, people maybe about my dad's age, so like
That's pretty
60, like high fived with the black woman when she caught the Articuno. Like these were just random people that did not know each other from every walk of life that just got together to play this fucking game to
cool.
catch a virtual bird, and it was the coolest fucking shit.
That's the positive side of the game. Like in that aspect, like there's just so many like it was a cash cow on launch, and it was bigger than anybody would imagine. They just needed to quickly iron out the bugs that it had.
But they haven't ironed out the bugs.
No, they haven't done really much of anything to improve. They've done a lot of things that I thought was head scratchingly bad right in the beginning, right when it was like it was. They did a lot of missteps when they had the chance to just it to be a runaway like
Yeah, it like just
success, like right at the beginning. There was I'm trying to remember what it did right away, and I was like, it was something that was like pissed me off instantly.
there's one thing I didn't like. They bumped up or bumped down the speed at which eggs. Like if you're
Oh,
over,
they added the fucking thing in the car.
that's fair. I mean, that's like a
No,
live.
no, not even that. It's like I don't mind the message that pops up, but if you say that you're not
Yeah,
the like you're the passenger, like it should totally the shit should appear. Maybe the eggs don't hatch because that's fair, right? I know the game's about walking, sure, right? Like so, like I can understand the eggs not hatching, but the shit on the radar should still pop up.
I actually this pissed me off royally. Was coming home Sunday,
Mhm.
and I was on the train. So me and Penny had to go like from like Metro Park to Trenton, and when we were on the train in Trenton, I was like, she was asleep, so I was like, all right, I'll like fucking fuck around with it. So I put on like one of the incense thing because like someone did like the math of it. It's like, oh, you have to go like 200 meters per minute to like, and you'll catch like a Pokemon will appear every 200 meters, and then you'll fucking that's the best way to do it. You catch like 30 Pokemon in 30 minutes. Um, so the first couple like they're like decently strong. So you throw the berries and you try and catch them, and they would just run away, and I wouldn't catch them. I was like, okay, like in my head, it's like, all right, they're running away because I moved, however far I moved, because I'm in a train. But there was one time, and then I was like starting to see it was like weaker Pokemon that I would throw like an Ultra Ball at, would just break out first shake and run away. And
Yeah,
I was like,
that's because of the motion thing.
there was a CP10 Pidgey. So I threw the raspberry at it and then threw an ultra ball at it, and it broke out and ran away. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. That's one thing. It's like, all right, I get it. It's like, if you say you're the passenger thing, it's like, this, I understand they run away because you moved. Fine. But like, I didn't catch one thing the whole fucking time.
It shouldn't affect the catching of it. I can understand the eggs because it's teetering on cheating. You get in a car and you can just drive the 10 kilometers in like 15 minutes.
There is one thing that people get pissed off at. It's when they ride their bikes, it doesn't register, which I do believe it should get bumped back up to, I think it was like
It should be around
10.
15 to 20.
I think it was like 12.
They lowered it to 10,
I think it's 12 to 15 miles an hour is what it started at. And I was like, I think it should go. Because there were sometimes I would like skateboard and it wouldn't register. And it's like, I'd skateboard, me and my friends would fucking fuck around on like.
Yeah, you're not going that fast.
Yeah, it's like
warrant it not to register. It's silly. It's silly how low it is that you can get to a point where like you can almost be running because the GPS in game also is not that accurate to begin with.
The GPS it updates every
15 seconds.
No, I think it's higher than that.
They lower it. Oh, it's up more now.
No, I think it's every minute.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. It used to be quick in the beginning.
I can use it while running, though. I did. I went on like a 3-mile run yesterday, and it did update when I was running.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves because that was like personally, I was like, and a lot of people like, oh hey, I ride 3 miles to work every day. I can't get shit out of this. Which is, I completely understand, like, if you're not in a car or anything. And they're like, I'm not sitting there actively playing it while I'm riding my bike. I just turn it on and put it in my pocket. So it's like, at least I get
some
3
of the
miles
steps.
worth of steps.
Sometimes you're lucky on, like, you're on a bike or whatever. You can get some.
That's the biggest thing. You could get, like, maybe half of what you really need.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, they need to bump it up a hair. Just a hair. It's on that cusp of like being to a point where you could you can achieve the speed needed for it not to work in other ways outside of a car. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of like, that's one of the issues I know. I don't know with the drop rates. You probably want to keep the strong guys rare. I would like more variety on what is deemed the lower tier.
I feel like I get the same like 5 or 6 Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, there's like there's like they added the second gen, so there's like 200. There's roughly near 300. I think it might be like 260 ish.
250, 260.
Yeah, it's in there. I mean, for me to get the same 5 is like, meh. Like there should be more. I mean, now it's at least somewhat more variety because it's like you get Rattata.
They took some stuff. Like I don't think you can get Pidgeys, Rattatats, or like Weedles anymore.
The balls, Eevee should not have been in the 10 egg at all because I would get pissed. Especially Eevees were common back
Eevees
then.
are still pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was in the 10 egg, so it was like you would get that and you'd be pissed because you took so long to fucking hatch the eggs, and you would get something that you would just see all the time. That was awful. I'm glad they fixed that. I'm pretty
There's
sure
another one that's like.
There's ones I get all the time.
Chinchou.
Is that intense?
That's intense, and I can catch. There's a ton by Drexel Park.
Is there?
And it's just like that's another one. It's just like, but then there's other things in the 10 like the Mareeps that have like under 1% drop rate, where it's like
you would want the Mareep in those higher eggs because I feel like Ampharos is like really really strong. I don't know in the game.
I haven't seen it. I have never seen one. I don't think. Like even in a gym or anything. I don't think I've ever seen one.
I don't know how it is. I know this game has weird, like what's good and what's bad because all of a sudden, like, who's the one that was like Vaporeon early game was
Vaporeon was fucking broken because the water gun's like the quickest,
like
the highest DPS.
I mean, that's what it always turns into. It's always like you find that one that like you run away with, whether it be Mario Kart, Wii, where you just play Funky Kong and the one bike because it gave you like all for. Oh no, it was like top speed boost or something that was so noticeable. So you would just play online, and the entire lobby would just be Funky Kong.
Funky Kongs.
Yeah, there's just no reason. I mean, you always find that one thing, and then everybody like runs to it.
I'm pretty sure it's like Blissey,
Well,
Snorlax,
Blissy's like ridiculous because she has so much health in this game. And it takes forever.
like Tyranitar,
Yeah, I mean,
Dragonite,
it's probably the ones you would expect to be good.
Rhydon. Those are like the top 5 that like they're not good like attackers. Like I
No,
mean,
but
I
they
know
just like
Tyranitar and Dragonite
Dragonite.
are, but like the others, I think are more like defensive
Well,
based.
Blissey has the highest health, and she takes forever to kill. It's the same thing with Snorlax. It's just a damage sponge. So it just turns into like you have those gyms and you have the high CP, like Blissey and Snorlax, and they just sit there and they just eat damage and like they just wear you down basically.
Also, the XP to get to level 40 is
Oh, the
disgusting.
the curve to get like the
Because like I'm 25 right now, and to level up, I think I need 150,000. And to get from I think 39 to 40, you need to get.
Oh, it's like 5 million.
I think it's more than every other level, or like about every other level.
I'm pretty sure it turns into the curve of like how it works to level up. It's like pretty steady and it's like a pretty linear like kind of thing.
And then it just fucking
at
jumps.
30 it's like exponential for whatever reason. I don't know if there should be more levels or like the levels don't really do anything. The levels are for like what you can see in the
I think the stronger they get, the more levels you have.
But I think
your XP
30
doesn't stop.
I think 30 though, 30 to 40, it's negligible. Like the things that appear in the wild, like so like at that point, if you were like waiting, like for Stardust and stuff, you didn't waste any of it.
Yeah.
You'd probably want to start actually trying to like make your run at gyms. I'd imagine around 30.
Well, yeah, that's like I got the Snorlax and it was like 100 away from 2,000, so I was like, I'm just gonna fucking put the fucking points into it. Hey, my fucking pincer's in that gym.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm never gonna get it back because
no, the people here there's like a
fucking savages.
There's a red team and they just run and they all put that's like 6 3,000s in, and then they just sits up there for like 5 weeks because it like takes forever to like kill them.
That's the other thing. I feel bad that I chose Instinct in the beginning because it's just really not a good. Like I like it because everybody just kind of makes fun of them because it's just like
I picked it because I
memes.
figured like if you pick the team whenever they release legendaries, you'd only be able to get whatever the one for your team was. And I felt like there's not that many strong electric types, and Vaporeon was like a runaway best person in the beginning of the game, so that whenever Zapdos came out, I would just dumpster fire it because it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter because you would have like Thunder or like whatever. But
I think Zapdos was the only legendary I ever used in like a playthrough of the game, like a legitimate playthrough.
Okay.
So that was kind of why I chose it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sure that they should have did 3 teams.
Well,
it seems like it would be much better if they.
Someone hit 30 by not joining. They didn't join a team. People, you don't have to choose, which is cool. Like you can like people just like
neutral.
Like you could stay neutral and shit. Like there was somebody, like some people do that. Like I know World of Warcraft, somebody did that. Like they didn't. You could choose the pandas, and you don't have to choose Horde or the Alliance, and they got to the max level by just sitting in the starting area and like fishing and shit.
Is there any reason? Like it
just because they did it. I think that was like the
just
biggest.
To do it. Okay.
Just to fucking shits and giggles.
I mean, do I wish I could change teams? Probably not. I mean, I don't really care. I don't like the gyms or anything.
I think that's something they could add for another cash grab. Like, $5 change your team. Which, I think is a fair thing to add.
I mean, like, What's-Her-Face never even did that on, like, PSN. They still don't have, like, the change your name, like, your gamer tag.
Really?
No. It's just, Xbox charged $10 before, and I have this one friend, and he fucking changed his name, like, 10 times. He literally spent, like, at least $100 on name changes, which is just fucking asinine. Would I change my team? I probably wouldn't, even if it was money.
Yeah, I don't think I would change it.
If it turned into a thing where... It would just turn into a thing where it would be like, oh, pick your team, and then you would, like, the bird was out. Everybody, it would literally go, everybody would be on blue, and they would get Articuno for like that week or two it was out. And then everybody would
Would be
pay
on-
it, and they would just change to red, and then everybody would change to yellow, and it would just happen over and over and
The
over.
only way I would think about changing is at first when like the raids were like at certain gyms, I thought it was like, oh, this is at like a red gym,
Yeah, you
only
can
red
all- yeah,
players
yeah.
can do this
No,
raid.
it seems like anybody can. Change
Anybody can do. I'm pretty sure anybody can do any of it. So it's like
It's kind of just like an aesthetic thing. It's kind of unnecessary.
it really is kind of dumb.
I also looked at the thing when you picked it, and they give the description. It was like an egg. He talks about the eggs, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like.
It's like I'm gonna get fucking sweet eggs and shit. That's another thing. It's like you get like a bonus for like depending on what you choose.
Is that a thing or no?
Yeah, you should. They could.
Oh, they don't, right?
Yeah, it'd
No,
be a
because
cool
I read
thing.
it about the eggs, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd rather just hatch the eggs and hope I get rarer things or better things out of the eggs. Like it would give me buffed odds, from, like, and because all the other ones were like evolutionary stuff.
It would be cool if they did something like that and they actually.
Because they
meant
all gave a
something.
description. Because it was like yellow was for the eggs, blue I think was evolutionary, like
And
when you
then
evolve
red
stuff.
was like power, like some shit like
Something
I don't know.
like training, like maybe with the Stardust, like you would do it that way, it would get stronger, more of a boost. But like, they all seem to do nothing.
I think it is just more of an aesthetic thing, but like we said, I'm in a situation like this a lot with things in my life because it's like, perfect example, Batman vs Superman. I am just so happy that in my lifetime I got to see that on the movies.
It exists, but the problem is,
I understand the flaws, and I accept that there are some people that are like, this is the greatest superhero movie of all time.
it's not.
It's not.
What do
There's
you mean
some
it's not?
people that are like, this is a fucking dumpster fire, which I see where they're coming from.
I also think that's also not true. I will say the whatever is the 23%.
It should at least be 50.
It's around the 50%. The movie is meh. It's not as bad. It's it's really bad from what it should be. The potential of the movie, it's nowhere near the potential. It's like 23% of what it should be. But in terms of a film, it's like a popcorn. What do they call it? When you just eat whatever that is.
But
That's all it is.
neither here nor there. It's like, hey, I really do like this thing, but I see why people are upset and don't like it, and I agree with the reasons.
I like the Ben Affleck
No,
Batman.
not even. I'm just saying with like Pokemon Go.
Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like just a parallel.
Oh, okay.
It's like, hey, I really like this game. I'm really happy it exists, but I understand and I do agree with the people that think
the
there are
gripes
flaws.
in for Pokemon Go are very valid, and they're not things that you can like dismiss as like being like childish or like entitled. Or I know people throw that word around.
There are a lot of times where like people do come off as entitled for some of the things, but an event every 2 weeks really wouldn't kill them. It's really not that much skin off their back.
I mean, it's already stuff. I'm not even asking them if they get creative with the event. I'd rather them just recycle it every so.
Oh yeah, just do like, oh hey, psychic type Pokemon spawn more. That's it. And like they really don't even need to add anything. Just be like, oh hey, like an Abra is an uncommon spawn in Philadelphia. Bump it up to a common. That's it. That's all they got to do.
Yeah, like shit where it's like boosted odds on whatever, or maybe like a week, or like maybe like a weekend or something where it's like all the upper echelon tier. Everybody just moves down one. Like common stays common, but everything bumps.
There is one more thing. The raids only are from like 6 a.m. to like, I think like 6:37
At night.
at
They
night.
should probably go to like 9.
I do understand why, because they're like, oh, parks close, malls close, public places like close,
Yeah.
and they don't want people just being out there at night. So it's like, I get where they're coming from, but I am just kind of like, that's another thing. People are like, I have a job from 9 to 5. I can't raid. Like, I have to come home and decide whether I want to eat at 5:30
or
go and play for
at that
45
point, you
minutes.
should be fucking.
You should be eating,
choosing
but-
your health over a mobile app. I will say.
But they're just like, how, it's like, I have no other time. It's like, one person was like, I'm never going to get the Articuno. Excuse me. I'm never going to get the Lugia. I'm never going to get any of this. Because unless you go out and play on your break, which some people don't get, like, I get an hour break built into my schedule. So it's I have nothing else to do.
Where's my Arnold Schwarzenegger commercial for Pokemon Go?
Yeah. I love Pokemon.
Downloaded free from the App Store.
From the App Store. I wonder how much they paid him for that fucking
Mobile Strike.
Mobile Strike.
Mobile
This is the second time we've talked about that.
The Mobile Strike. I
like,
love doing
just mentioned it.
I love just saying downloaded free from the App Store. That's what it is.
Arnold doesn't have to do that. Arnold's above that.
Well, he can be in movies again. He wasn't allowed to be when he's governor.
That's another thing. The trailers, fucking out of this world. Like the one for the legendary Pokemon was fucking awesome.
They'd like it's like weirdly high quality for like
it fucking hypes you up.
The rest of the game,
amped.
Even when they announced it, you're like, whoa, like what's going on? And then you like get the game, it's like, oh, it's nothing like this ad. But...
I mean, you could be. I don't know anybody who actually plays with the AR.
No, you turn that shit right off because it makes it way harder to catch them.
I know people play with like the AR for like funny pictures. They'll turn on the AR.
Oh, you turn on the AR and you like do whatever. You put the Ekans in the boot and then you put a picture of Woody.
Yeah, it's like there's a snake in my boot.
Yeah. But like outside, I mean that's the only time I've never seen any like.
I played with it for a little bit in the beginning, then I was like, oh, you can shut this off.
Yeah, you turn it right off and it's like that nice generic background.
And it's like
I have the science of like the throwing down to like it's just muscle memory of like I can hit the spin throw excellent almost like every time. So it obviously would change the sweet spot if I turned the AR on.
Somebody brought it up on Reddit, I think, that they were like, oh hey, I have a Pokeball burned into my screen. Like where it sits. And like I don't know. Because you could see it on his phone, like there was a circle, like you could very easily see where it was, like where it sits when you're catching them. And I was like, everybody was like, "Fuck, I see this on mine too." And I'm like, I don't think I played that much.
I don't play anywhere near enough to have it burned into my screen. Maybe right in the beginning when I was like outside a lot, and I was like, but no, there's no way. I'm not ever going to be anywhere near. Screen burning.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I don't know if I'd ever.
You gotta have the app on. You gotta be catching a guy consistently too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. You have to be like very, very
on the catching the shit like nonstop. I don't know. That was pretty much our thoughts.
I mean, I like I said, I liked the game. You know, the event was kind of shitty.
I mean, that woman did a great job of holding it together.
Yeah, there's a cringe compilation you should look up on YouTube. I think it was like fucking
something. Oh fuck! It was like Cringe Fest.
Cringe Fest, like spiciest compilation or something.
It's something like that.
It was good because they streamed the whole thing live on Twitch.
Yeah, it's up somewhere. It's like 8 hours or so.
It is a while, but like this one, like the Team Mystic dude was just such a douche.
The Team Mystic guy's over the top. And then the girl, when they announced that Articuno was going to be like the
one, she was like fucking.
She's like, I'm gonna cry.
She was fucking jazzing her pants. She's so fucking excited.
She's so excited for this virtual bird.
This fucking bird. That's the biggest thing. People get shown. I'm like, none of this means anything.
No, it's even worse because it's not even like the real games where you have it, and then like it's like on your phone, and it's like even less than like the cart. It's like
you don't even have a cartridge. This is just on the fucking cloud.
It's like it literally is a virtual bird. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's like bizarre. Like that guy was really bad. The Mystic guy, Mystic 7.
What did he call it when he
fucking spicing him, dude?
Yeah, he was like spicy. It's like, oh, you fucking, throw it.
Oh fuck, what was it? Oh my god.
Oh, god. You throw like a banana at it, then catch it like first throw with like a curveball, and I was like, this guy's a douche.
Spicy ripped or whatever the fuck.
And it was just like, oh, what kind of Pokemon did you guys catch today?
I think I caught an unknown. I think I went to spicy ripped it.
And it was just like, oh, we didn't catch anything because we can't get on the servers. And I'm like,
servers are
fuck.
Ass. Servers are ass. And a lot of good chance, a lot of good crowd work. But
people were pissed. But they did get $100 free worth of
I'm under the impression that they got a Lugia just for going. So.
Well, no, if you caught it, if you even just beat the raid in Chicago over the weekend, you got the legendary. You didn't even have to battle it. Like, you just got it.
But I'm under the impression that if you went and had a ticket, they were just gifting it to the accounts.
That's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, so, like, I think a lot of their complaints are unwarranted because, like...
Like, you really can't complain when they give you the money of the ticket
give you
back.
They gave you everything
$100 worth of shit. And, like, you got
and you actually got the legendary, too. then you pretty much got what you paid the money for, the ticket for, more or less. If you got on the game, you probably caught a continent exclusive, I'd imagine.
You caught some pretty cool shit because they bumped up all the spawn. I think it was like a bunch of rare spawns and shit. Like, I think they made it worth people's while.
Yeah, so like, you probably got your money's worth.
I think they got
Well, you
more
got
than their
not.
money
Well,
worth.
you paid nothing.
They paid nothing and got
And
basically
you
money.
made profit.
You made $100 worth of fucking Poke
You were in the
coins.
green. I won't defend the company because like the game should work. They should
I
at this point, a year in, you should know that you have that many people that play the game that you should be better prepared for the event. Now, I might give them a little leeway for the first fest, like PokeFest, but if they do it again and it's just as bad, like in terms of like server wide stuff, then I think they got it.
I think they need to not put it
in one spot, like
in a park.
just,
I think if it's like, oh hey, we're gonna have the.
I think they had to do it like that because they're doing the guy on stage.
I think they'd be like, oh hey, we're doing all this shit at the park,
but the event's citywide.
Like you could pay like $20 to come in and like.
People would still do that though because just because you say that, people would still go because you'd figure like it'd still be the hot spot would be right in.
But like there'd just be like, oh hey, you could still get it in like the shitty city of Chicago or like a 5-mile circle. So it's not like
everybody's
20,000 people in here. It's like more people
around.
But it's like a little more.
I mean, they
out.
should spread it out a little bit, but I don't know how that's would work. I think it should be bigger. But I do like the idea of.
I like the idea of a physical thing
of the fest. I don't know if I like. I need to recast.
I don't
Mystic
like
7.
Mystic 7 is a bunch of piece of shit. If
me,
you're listening to this, you're fucking shitlord.
Shitlord, I'm coming for you. Mystic 8. It's like that movie. It's that movie 9 with the sock puppet guy. It's animated where like.
That was a really good movie.
I never saw it. I just know that like all other ones died before him. Is that that one?
Yeah, and it was like. He was like the 9th one, and like the professor put his brain in it or some shit. It was actually like a pretty good movie. I think it was a Tim Burton movie.
Oh, was it a Tim Burton? A Tim Burton film? Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, it's a Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, Corpse Bride. I like that one.
And Frankenweenie. They say that's like a continuity.
Box Trolls? That's not him, right? It just has that same.
Yeah, that same like.
Is Coraline him?
Coraline.
I like.
Yes.
Actually,
I don't know.
I like the movie. I think Box Trolls and Coraline are the same
people.
Same people. I never saw Box Trolls. I like Coraline.
I think they did Kubo and the Two Strings too, whatever that studio is.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm not sure. That's like one of the new, but it's like the stop motion.
Yeah, it takes forever.
It like they had the shit like as they were doing it, like not in the movie, it looked fucking awesome. But like it is just a lot of take a picture.
I mean,
take a picture.
Some of that stuff I can't even imagine, like the more in-depth scenes where it's like, God, it must be awful. You gotta really love your job. It turned out great at the end. Like the finished products.
Finished products
really really good. I don't know of one. I'd love if you know, please leave it in the comments of the any like stop motion ones where it seems like the movie would take really long time to make and it turns out really bad.
Oh yeah, I actually don't know like one that's like.
Cause I'm
actually not good.
Yeah, like at least average to like above average. Like that's probably like the bottom scale. I haven't seen one or heard of one that's like
bad.
Like bad. Like I know that some people maybe like Wallace and Gromit is not for them. I mean it's British.
I like it. It was like a good. I remember the first one was pretty good. I remember seeing it in theaters.
The only one I remember. I mean there was the movie one where it's like the werewolf or the were-rabbit. I think it is.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters.
I saw it in the theaters. And it's okay. Like I mean that's like not my.
I thought it was good when I was like 9.
Yeah, I
haven't
the
seen it was,
since I was a kid. I like the one where he's the like that brings the penguin home and the penguin's like crime lord. You ever see that? I still love that one. The penguin has a fucking gun. He pulls like a revolver out and he like tries to rob him. It's a really good one. I like it's a short because most of them are shorts.
I think that was the first movie they ever.
That was the movie, yeah. But that's the one. That's the one I really distinctly remember. It stands out in my mind is when the penguin pulls the gun out on him. Because like the the dog's Gromit. Right?
Gromit, yeah.
Like Gromit knew he was like bad news, and then like Waffle's like, oh, he's just like
He's just a penguin.
he's just a penguin.
Yeah. Like typical, like bring a new pet home. It's like he's actually evil. Nah, you're just jealous.
Yeah,
it's like nah, he's actually
no,
evil.
yeah, he literally pulls a gun. I'll put that as a thumbnail. Penguin pulling the gun on him in gift form.
Penguins and Pokemon Go.
Yeah, where's Piplup?
Where's Piplup?
That's not that's 4th gen.
Right? That is 4th. That'll be probably 2 years.
2019.
Man, I hope the game does not around for 2 more years.
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna get to the end.
I don't think they can keep up with it.
I don't know if they can get to, like, we don't know, whatever gen is 7.
You gotta like think that they'll maybe get out one a year, while the Pokemon company's putting out, let's say, new Pokemon every year. They're just. Gonna be
hope
like,
it's gonna get to a point where it's insane when the Mega Evolution, if it ever gets to that point.
I hope it doesn't.
I think it like might not make it past 4. I think 4 might be the.
I think it might be 3.
Maybe.
I think if they even get to 3.
It's been a lot of missteps, but I think a lot of people that are playing Go.
I think when they have like
aren't buying the real games, so like I think it's like people that are like, oh, this is a fun mobile game.
Or it was like, oh, hey, I had a Game
I remember
Boy.
this. I remember like Red and Blue when I was a kid. Or,
like, I had a Game Boy when I was a kid, but I haven't played since. But I remember all these Pokemon.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna get out of hand when you get to like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like on the cusp.
I remember. I know all of this, so it's like
I know up by heart most likely up to 3, most of 4.
I can
and
go...
then after that it gets a little hazy because I don't remember which one's which. I know most of the starters because Piplup's 4.
Yeah.
And then top of my head because I'm trying to think of the other starters that I picked. Because the Seal's the new one. Popplio is the newest one.
Popplio.
And then in between there's Oshawott is I think black
5.
and white.
Yeah, that's Gen 5.
Yeah, so then that's the only ones I'm missing.
Oshawott, Tepig, Snivy.
Yeah.
6 was Froakie.
Oh, Froakie. Okay, yeah.
Froakie, Fennekin, and...
No, Groudal's 4. Fucking, it's the Alvrel's the new one. Never mind.
Oh, what the fuck was this thing? Chespin.
Chespin, yeah, it turned into the, like...
The big dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think they're ever gonna get that far.
No, absolutely not.
I think the game would get too big. Once after 3, having 300 in there, I just don't think the game can handle it.
I don't know. That would help with a lot of the variety issues, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, big thing, they do update the spawn nests every so often, because Drexel Park had Kabutos for like 2 weeks straight. Like I caught like probably like...
You have a Kabutops?
I have a Kabuto. It was like I got 150 of the candies. Now it's just pincers. When I was coming here, there were 6 of them spawned, and I was like, I can't do anything with this. Like I caught one.
They
pincer.
don't even turn into.
I caught
it's
one
only mega pincer.
Yeah.
It's like 5 away.
I caught a 1700 one, and I haven't seen anything stronger. So I like click on it. It's like, oh, you have 500. I'm not gonna like bother. It's not even I can turn you into candy to evolve something. It's like,
yeah,
you were just a useless bug to me.
An insignificant bug.
You are insignificant bug,
and you shall be crushed for your insolence. All right, well, that's pretty much our thoughts.
That's pretty much Pokemon. You know, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. And it's not that we're really rating it, but
I mean, on the unofficial scale, a hot take rating, top of my head, in middle of the pack game. I mean, probably one of the better app games. If I rate it out of an app game, I put like 4.
I'd give it 3.5 dandies out of 5.
Sure, the dandy scale. Yeah, 3.5 to 4.
Yeah.
Based on an app, I mean, on a real game, probably 3. I'd lower it in a real game. I mean, it's fun. I know that like it has the fun aspects to it, but it has problems still. So I mean, it's like an objective, like middle of the pack. I've played way worse,
but it's sadly, like I've also played better.
I played a lot better, but you know, it's a middle of the pack game. We're like real ratings, not the ones where it's like this game is mediocre.
We're not getting paid for this, so
this game is mediocre 7. This game is pretty shitty 6.5.
At IGN. Shit.
At me. Come at me, IGN. All right. Well,
Alright, so I think this has been just Andy.
this is yes, excellent.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Dan.
So we'll catch you next time in the fucking interwebs.
Yes, sometime soon.
See you soon.
Bye bye.
Love you.